Have you ever been made to feel stupid, incapable, not smart? I feel like a lot of adults carry into their life this label that maybe they were given at school. I certainly have felt this way. I was a little girl lost in the French schooling system. I was terrible at spelling and I was made to feel not smart, stupid at times on many occasions. And yet today I have a very successful business. I have over 800 students that learn French with me and a community of close to 1 million on social media platforms. How did this little girl that once cried at the back of her mom's car, asking her mom to not tell her friend's mom the mark that she got at spelling because she was so embarrassed, became a French teacher? And if you too have ever felt incapable, not good enough, stupid, whatever it might have been, I really want you to watch this video until the end. The mindset that changed my life forever could genuinely help you too. Because my life did not change because I suddenly became gifted. That would be too easy. It changed when a teacher completely changed the way I understood progress. Because, as I said, the schooling system was kind of letting me down, I ended up repeating a year. I repeated the first year of lycée, which is the year when you are 15, 16 in France. It is the foundation year of the lycée before your baccalaureate. There are 3 years in lycée. And I repeated that year. At the end of that year, one of the teachers said to Maman, "Your daughter is a mess." We got into the car after that meeting and she looked at me and she said, "Eva, it was a year positive socially. Next year, you'll need to work a little bit." That's all she said. Then the next question was, "What do you want for dinner? Qu'est-ce que tu veux manger ce soir?" That was not what changed my mindset. What changed my mindset is my sports teacher the next year, who happened to be also my general teacher. He was the one that represented the class during class assemblies and things like that. But he taught us sports in class. And at the beginning of the first trimester, he said, by the end of this trimester, you are all going to be running 60 minutes without stopping. At the time, I laughed and I laughed out loud. I said, jamais de la vie. For me, running 1 hour is like not possible. And he said to me, there are people that are 70, 80-year-olds, but still run long distances, sometimes completing marathons. So you, at 16, you will be able to run 60 minutes. At the time, I still laughed and didn't really believe in it. But here's what changed everything. And before I tell you how this teacher changed completely my mindset, I just want to let you know that if you enjoy this video, please click the subscribe button because this really inspires me to create more content. And if you are someone that's learning French, don't hesitate to jump into my library of videos to improve your skills. You are also welcome to join my live classes anytime. I'll put everything in the description for you. At the beginning of the class, he said to us, "I want you at each session to decide of your own goal." So the main goal that we are all going towards is running 60 minutes. But in each individual session, you will all have your own individual goal. And if in the first class, your goal is to run 5 minutes, then that is your goal. If it is 10 minutes, then that is your goal. But I want you to write down that goal at the beginning of your class. And I want you to accomplish that goal, reach the end of it. But the main thing into the rule was that when you reached your goal, you stopped. If you felt like you could do more, you still stopped. The importance in it was to end with pride and not disappointment. If you were to push yourself a bit further when you felt that you could do more, then you might end up exhausting yourself and ending feeling not good enough. If you tried to do like the others and that they did better. The point was that you've reached your goal and that was all that mattered. And that's why it was important to write it down. It was about pride and about accomplishing your goal, about knowing that next time, because you knew you could do more, you could do maybe 15 minutes instead of 10, or 20 instead of 15. Or maybe it was hard, and then you will repeat that same goal and practice. It was about slow achievement and reaching the main general goal at your own pace, training yourself according to what you needed. And at first I didn't completely understand it, because at first I thought that like achieving goals was to push yourself hard, to do the maximum possible. But like everybody else, often when I did that, I ended up by quitting because I failed because it was too hard. Whereas with this worked. And with this technique of finishing on with pride and accomplishing goals, it felt like each session was positive. Each session brought in some feeling of being capable of achieving things, achieving goals. And somehow this changed everything. Everything started to fall into place. Whilst I was progressing throughout this trimester with my running, I was also progressing with my spelling, my grammar, but physics and chemistry and science, everything was falling into place, as though this little disciplined rule was being applied in every section of my life. It was not just about running. It was about discipline in life, showing up for yourself in small, regular quantities and not letting yourself down. I get a bit emotional talking about it because this man changed my life. By the end of my lycée years, I had been at the top of my class for 2 years in a row. I received the best score at the baccalaureate for that year at my school. I had the teacher that told my mom that I would do nothing in life come up to me in the library one day and said, "I was wrong about you. What happened? What changed?" He was not my teacher anymore, but he had heard from other teachers how incredible I was doing in every discipline at school. And at the end, at my baccalaureate, I had 20 out of 20 in literature. I had 18 out of 20 in written philosophy. These are marks that are absolutely unseen in French baccalaureate in this sort of discipline. This little girl that was made to feel stupid, not smart enough for academy, hadn't been taught how to progress, hadn't been taught how to learn, hadn't been taught how to unlock the skills that were inside of her. And I feel that's something that's often letting down a lot of people, because the system is made for the general, not for the individual. And I was lucky to cross the path of that teacher. Now, this is how you can apply this to your life. Now, if it is running that you want to do, go ahead and do it, because it generally works. I taught people in my life this method, and they followed it, and they've all come back to me saying, "Eva, I can run now, and it's thanks to this method." But in every section of your life, you can do this, and with learning French as well. If you do like everybody else, like a lot of people, I should say, set yourself to study 3 hours a day and like do all these things that are high expectation, that make you feel like you're not, at the end it's too hard, and then you just label yourself as not being good at languages or not being good at French. That's, because simply you've set goals that are really, really, really hard to achieve. Do not do that. Instead, apply this method, small goals, a podcast a day, reading a text the next day, learning a new word, the next day learning a sentence of that word, the following day learning a sentence in the past of that word. Progression, sticking goals, continuously moving on forward, not setting yourself goals that will make you feel like a failure and want to give up. I truly believe something, that if you set your mind to something and that you do it with discipline, but not hardcore discipline that feels comfortable enough that you can continue it, you can do anything in life.